and then it was sort of no contest. But I mean, right now the Ugandan ladies are doing well, so yeah. So for me, it went very quickly from playing to working within rugby, and here I am still within rugby.
So una believe umesema imekuwa roller coaster?
Yes.
Na ukiwa pale bench ulikuwa unaona wase wanapewa allowance unasema ni za last year. So una believe hiyo ndio ilikupush kwenda into management?
Yes. For me, definitely. Because unataka kucheza, but one, not only was I not necessarily welcome on the team. So you see, for me, sport is a way to release any tension, stress, all of that. I've played sports my whole life. So I did not believe that unafa when the pitch no toke kama umekasirika. That did not make sense to me. And because it was a very different culture to what I was used to, nikasema then, it makes more sense because easy hardship zote ay hapana. No, we need no safety. For me, I feel like that's not how any sport should be run. I feel like you go and play a game, you go and train, there should be all this positive energy. I mean, even just playing sports, all the endorphins released. So you start wondering, watu wako na mashida gani zenye wakikuja kwa pitch ndo,
wanataka kuzitoa hapo hivyo zote.
Wanazitoa hapo. So yeah, I realized at that point that, look, you need to decide because you're not getting any younger. Are you going to play and wait for allowances to come next year? Or are you going to get into management and possibly help grow the game, make the game better, change how people, their perception of the game? And I think that is what pushed me into management.
So you doing something different
Yes.
from what you were accustomed to?
Yes, I believe I am, in the sense that even when I was called back to play with like the younger girls, because I played for Mwamba Rugby, I'd play, and then after that, a few girls would approach me and be like, look, I'm not okay in nikifikiria hivi, emotionally, mentally. And for me, that's a really big thing because they see me as a safe space. Sawa, I'm not there every day, but I come today and you realize this is somebody I can talk to. And I feel like that is what sports is about. Sisterhood, brotherhood, knowing you can go to someone and tell them I'm struggling with this. Like, is there any advice you can give me, or what do you think of the situation? So yeah, it's just spreading positivity basically, and changing how things are run.
So far experience ikoaje? Because mimi hata nikigrow up mtaa yenye natoka, tuna believe rugby ni a male dominated sports. Na we ni dem. Challenges umepitia ama experiences zenye umepitia hapo ukiwa kwa hiyo sport so far ziko vipi?
Well,
wacha kucheka.
Nacheka because I feel like I'm saying what everybody knows, but we will say it again. So most sports are male dominated, obviously. And me being a sports lover, I mean, I was used to that. But again, like I said, the culture was very different when I finished school and when I was in school. So, I mean, I grew up more of a tomboy. I'm used to talking to guys. But hey, huku nje, they're different guys. Like, this is not, kuna wenyewe. So you get you get there and you find that sometimes, just by virtue of you being a woman, what you say is not regarded as highly as if it was a man who said it. Two, also, like, let's say I don't dress up. People don't actually listen to you. Like, they can just sit there and you'll say what you're saying and you are making sense. But until they have something to look at, and I learned that in rugby. Yes.
Wanakulenga tu yani, wanakuassume yani.
Well, uko tu. But I think I'd say it's a challenge, of course. There are men who are willing to give you a chance, and people who are like, no, look, let's have her here because we know she can do the job. And then there are people who obviously have other agendas. And well, I'll just bring up sexual harassment because it's a thing. And yeah, I'm sure it goes both ways, but in this sector, obviously, it goes more one way.
Women's International Day, so it's good to talk about it right now. So this is the space to talk about it.
Yes. So, maybe you'll want a job and someone will say, see, we have coffee. And you're like, okay, I don't see why I need to have coffee with you before I get the job. And then if I have coffee with you today, what will we be doing tomorrow? And when is it that I will be allowed to say, no, this is enough for me. I can't go beyond here. So, but then we've also got a lot of people who protect people like that. And I've had many conversations with people, even like within rugby, and said, you see, if you are protecting this person and this is how they are, then you are just as bad as them. And that is how I feel.
No.
Goalkeeper trainer.
Ndio uqualify national team ilikuwa lazima ulale na yeye. Pande ya rugby mimi sijui sana. Wewe ndio unaweza tu advice, unaweza tuambia. Una believe ina translate to results ziko kwa field, kwa pitch?
Well, I believe it does in the sense that not even necessarily that you're not a good player, but mtu akishajua I did this and that is why I've been picked, akona ego flani. So now they will not play as hard because I did what I needed to do to get here. Now, often what happens is they don't know that this maybe coach or whatever has done it with many people. So una assume ni wewe peke yako. Unaona wewe ndio ule mse kwa team.
Unaweza sema.
Mimi ndio nilichaguliwa. Nyinyi by the way, you're not good enough for him. Yes, and that's how it is. But that is how they, like whoever it is that is the perpetrator, that is how they intend it to be. They want you to think ni wewe peke yako. So that you feel like you're better than everyone, because then they get what they need. So yeah, I believe it does translate to results because, well, one, obviously sometimes not the best player will be picked because of either a relationship or a friendship or just a favor. And other times it's someone's on the team and they have such a big ego. Ungedhani end your captain. So yeah, you know.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you. Since you've experienced it and you've seen it happening, what do you think should be done?
I think, in my opinion, because for women, it's a double-edged sword. You want to come and talk about it, but then when you talk about it, either you won't get a job again or you won't play again. If you don't talk about it, then you die with that, like, within you, knowing that it's happening to other people. Exactly, it eats you up because talking about it is also a form of therapy. So for me, because I've talked to, like when I was part of, say, the rugby union, I have talked to a few people who are directors, who are, you know, at the top. And I told them, because it came up, I told them a lot of girls will not come forward. I will. And I will tell you who it is, and I will tell you what they did. And I will tell you that I know other girls, they have done the same thing too. But then nothing is done. So for me, it's action needs to be taken. I don't care if you're my brother, if you are my friend. If somebody comes and tells me this happened, and 10 girls come and tell me this happened with you, surely at that point, I can't doubt it, you know? And something needs to be done. Like what happens is you go, you'll say something, and that person will still be retained. They will still have a job, no investigation will be done. And that is where I feel we fail our women.
So sasa nikikuwa wacha ni play devil's advocate. Kuna wase wana approach wa madem. Ni aje mimi nitakanlale na wewe ndio ukue kwa team. Na kuna madem wana approach ma coach. Una handle situation kama hizo aje kwa sababu hatutaangalia tupande ya machali sana. Tusi assume side nyingine pia ina happen, ndio. Kuna wale wanakuja wakijua ule najua tu nikifanya hivi na hivi ndakuwa set.
Ama anaweza Afrika hivi has a crush on the coach.
So what I would say is, let's be professional. By the time you're getting to a point where you're playing a game, I mean, we are men and women and there are feelings. We have feelings. You might get there and, hey, coach anaka kitu ingine, and you're like, but then you need to remember what brought you here. And if you're going to be in a relationship, that is fine. But don't bring that onto the pitch. It's like how, let's just say, in the event that you dated your boss, and you somehow end up working at the same place. So even if it started there, people in the office should not be able to tell that you are in a relationship. When you do your work, if it is being punished, you get punished the same as everybody else. Like there shouldn't be favors. And we should try and handle things as adults, basically. Like the relationship is not what the problem is. It's asking for the favors. If I am a woman and I come to you and I, proposition you, as a coach, you know your job. You know why you are here, and you know if you want to do this or if you don't. So it's very easy for you to say, look, either I'm not interested in you, or kama hiyo imekushinda, it's fine, but that will not affect your, like, anything
Kazi
when it
yako.
comes to hapa you will be expected to work, basically. Yes.
So enough of your story. Enough of your story.
Is there a union for advocating for players' rights?
To be honest, I don't know. Take it seriously. Whichever way it is going, take it seriously. I know I have talked to a few of the directors about it. I'm like, look, when we get more women coming on board, I will take some things very seriously. And I will be that thorn in your foot if it comes to sexual harassment. Either way, I will be that person. Like, it's either you get rid of me or we do the right thing.
Kazi ifanywe vile inafaa kufanywa.
I think you can support me even on this. There lies the solution. Start a union with the rugby league so that some of these things are addressed.
Yeah.
Uwazi. So tukiangalia, nilikuwa nataka kuuliza kama dem umekuwa pale, umeona problems ziko wapi? Ni solutions gani unakuja nazo on board? Cause vitu kama coaching courses. Cause na believe tuna need madem wengi wakuwe macoach. Cause kama wewe una understand madem, umesema wewe ni safe space kwao. Imagine sasa ukiwa coach. Kuna vitu kama hizo mnadu?
Now, we do have coaching courses. We had a coaching course for the Kenya Rugby League last year, I believe in around March. It was level 1 for coaching and for refereeing. So we had people come in from, other countries in Africa. We had people from Ghana, people from Cameroon, and the rest. But yeah, so we had people coming in. Yes, we had women as well. Of course, the numbers of ladies are not necessarily as high as the men, so we're trying to push for that as well. Here we are growing rugby league, so of course you'll have more men already, playing. But on a grassroots level, I believe we've got a lot of girls coming into the sport, and as they rise up, that's something that I would want to push for. Like, even if you don't intend on necessarily, coaching, come and do a course. Just have it under your belt, because also you won't play forever. And when you're even in terms of reffing, one of the things that is good to do is have a ref who knows what they are doing come and train with a club. So that they can tell you, look, in the game, when I call this is what I'm talking about. When I do this is what I'm talking about. But yes, we are trying to push more women into the sport. At the moment, I think we've got 4 female referees, which is not a bad number to start off with.
Kweli.
Yeah, so we're trying to push for more of that. Yeah.
Kidogo, pengine kuna mafano wanatusikiza hapa hivi. Madem. Kidogo, kama unaweza tupea briefly tu difference ya rugby league na hii rugby nyingine na at least some of them will understand ni nini wana come into.
I'll give sort of a brief overview. And one thing is, well, obviously things like 15s, that's a longer version of the game for union, and for league it's 13s. So it's 2 less people, and then we have rugby 9s and they have 7s. But also there's the fact that rugby league is a faster game, like the longer version. It is a much faster game. You have got to be much fitter, because a lot of people in 15s are like, each tutacheza, each tutachapa watu,
bora uko na mwili.
And then you come and you realize no, because of the breakdowns, you don't necessarily have a ruck per se. It's very, you've got to be really powerful, or it helps if you're really powerful, breaking through tackles, but also just really fit, because it's every time you have a breakdown, you've got to retreat 10 if you're defending. So you're back. Now that is, have you done burpees? You go down, you get up, alafu urudi tena. It's almost like that. So unachoka. But then it's good. I mean, it's good to have different versions of the game for people, because also you look at some scenarios, say with the men. Kenya Rugby Union, like the union version of the game is, yes, it's growing still, because that's an ever-lasting sort of thing. But in terms of national team, there are people who are very good, but hawatafika. Na wanajua hawatafika. And it's not because maybe they're not good, ama nini. We know there's a lot of politics around making the team.
Mambo ni mingi.
Why not come and try for rugby league? Yeah. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we are playing sports. And, you're making the national team. Does it matter whether it's going to be 15s, whether it's going to be, whether it's going to be rugby league? Hata ukienda ucheza basketball, we will be happy for you. So
bora uko active.
Bora uko active.
Kwa hivyo umesema umefungua mlango.
Tumefungua kabisa. We are welcoming anybody who wants to come on board.
Mutiso unaweza enda kujaribu rugby. Mimi
miaka zimepita.
Mimi ndakuwa fan number 1.
Sasa ukisema miaka zimepita, when we went for the MIA championship last year, we went to Ghana. There was a guy who played for the Moroccan team. I'd like to believe he was at least at a 50.
What do you mean?
Kwanza tuanzie MIA ni nini? What do you mean by MIA?
Same Mutiso. So no. Mia, that's a Middle East and African championship. So there was a tournament last year, and Morocco dropped out like last minute, and we were asked. Kenya is still an observer nation. We don't yet have full membership. Yes, but we were asked, would you like to bring a team? And we rose to the challenge. I mean, why not?
Mko ready?
We've only had at that point we'd had one season, so we know what we are working with. But we're like, you know what? The world also needs to know what we're working with. And fine, at that point you don't have sponsors. You're trying to figure out how is this gonna work. Directors when you're walifanya kazi hapo, now as in
unawatolea kofia.
Because how we went, people do not know the struggle before we got there. But the boys went and they performed and they did well. We got there and people thought we would be the whipping boys of the tournament. After day one, watu wako, okay. Kumbe mnacheza.
Watu hawajui jokes.
Because we had literally, I think, 4 training sessions before we left as a team. Before that, you'll find, okay, watu wawili wamecheza pamoja, watatu. But as a team, we had 4 Saturdays and we flew out. How we managed to do that and get there and came third in a tournament of 4 with people who have had 2 years to prepare. I mean, surely. If that does not speak for itself, then I don't know what does.
Watu wakifikiria story nafikiri tutachapa break. Ile break ya inaitwa water break, cooling break.
Tukifikiria hapa vile, I will be invited at Kitengela Sharks. Go train with them. Get my fitness and my sexy back.
Mimi kama fan number 1, mimi ndakuwa tu kwa stand hapo hivyo na ile kitu yangu. Na something
to 6 pack.
Something which is not water.
Time to read through your contract, to go through your contract. You don't have um, a, the excitement of training. You do not even concentrate on some of the things. Does that also happen in rugby, or you being a team manager? Do you ever do that?
So in rugby league, again, it's very new. So at the moment, hata hakuna pesa yenye watu wanasaini. At the moment, like you will come on, yes, you will come on board, you'll get your call-up letter, but how I would want it to be done is once money starts flowing through the channels, you will have time to read your contract. It will be explained to you. If you feel you need somebody else to explain to you because unaona labda mimi nimekudanganya, please feel free to. What I don't want to do is have a case like that where unaamka unapatia watu vitu wanafaa kutrain. No, I don't believe things should be done like that. A contract is a very important document, and before somebody ties themselves down, they need to go home with it, sit down, look at it, ask all the questions they need to ask, maybe even give them a week, and then now when you start your season, you can now say, okay, these are the guys we have on board, hao wamesema waoni, and you move on from that.
Kila mtu akue comfortable.
Yes.
Before tuende cooling break, ulikuwa umeongelea about second season. So kumekuwa na first season na clubs ziko ngapi? Alafu pia unaweza tueleza zaidi kuhusu Kitengela Sharks.
Okay. So season should start in around March, April. We've got 6 clubs at the moment. I hear there are 2 that may want to, but until you've got all your regulations in place and you can properly come on board, we are in no rush. We'd rather have things properly done. Now with the second season, I'm very excited personally because now a lot more people know about league. As in one season, you guys have traveled, you've had an international tournament, and we are also looking to have more international games throughout the year. Now that I believe is rapid growth. Of course, there's some loopholes we still need to fill in and all of that. But I'm really excited for the second season. We also have in those teams that will play, we've also got ladies sides. The ladies, I mean, most of them are young, which is good. That's where I want us to start, because then they grow, they develop a culture. Like with the men, what you'll get a lot of the time, not that there aren't young men, there are also young boys teams, and every team should have a second side. But with the men, you'll find that most of the first teams are people who played, they probably started off with union, and then now they're like moving into league. That's not a bad thing, but it's easier to teach someone from scratch the rules of league than have them change sometimes. Yes, so I'm very I'm looking forward to it. There was a tournament, I believe, end of last year, I think, in Nakuru, that was with the Ruffians. And in that tournament, I sat and I just watched the ladies, and I was happy. To be honest, I was happy the way those girls were playing.
Kwa nini huko na expect quality or quality?
Not even that I didn't expect it, just that it was just impressive. When you watch rugby at a certain level, because even when you watch the big boys, there are rules you realize people don't know. But these girls had a pretty good grasp on the rules, and they had so much gusto when they were playing. They really wanted to play. And they're asking, so when will we get an international fixture? And I'm like, don't worry, itakuja.
Pole pole tu.
Kwa na watu wako na moto hivo, that was very encouraging for me to see. Now with the Kitengela Sharks, obviously, we've got our main team, and we're also trying to develop girls. Again, getting sponsors on board has been a little challenging. But I believe once people, first of all, stop associating us with rugby union because we are different. We have got our own federation.
Mhm.
There's no mother union. No, we are different.
Mko
And once
tofauti
they
kabisa.
realize that we are doing our things
Uh-huh.
right,
Mhm.
and not to throw shade, that we are doing our things right, that we are, you can hold us accountable for whatever money you will release, you will get the books, you will know this went here, this went here. I believe people will start coming on board.
So Kitengela Sharks iko na how old umekuwa in existence? Nini ili bring about unajua Kitengela mimi na associate na jua kali.
So
Hiyo ni mtaa yako.
So you see, part of what and I have learned this through the process. Part of what starts a team is one, someone willing to look for people who can play. Two, do you have ground? Whether it is bought, whether it is hired, or whether it is someone who's given you out of goodwill, Sawa, train Harper. Those things highly affect where your club is going to be. Now with Kitengela, of course, yes, it's generally a dry area. But what is the point of growing rugby? What is the point of going to the grassroots? Hatuwezi sema rugby ni Nairobi peke yake. Ama ati Nakuru tu penye tunajua. Ama this is now what we want. We want to go to wale watu wenye watu wanaona wako mbali. And also give the youth there something to do. Because what do they do then? As in, si kila mtu atachezea Harambee Stars. So, let's give them options. Let's tell them, look, instead of sitting at home, we can do this. We at Kitengela Sharks want to even start up things like, so you come, you play, we've got maybe we're working with a school. So you get maybe a scholarship to go to that school as you play for us. Because we've got an association with the school. We train the school. Those are things we want to look at. Because we know people are struggling. Things are hard. In Kenya, I think we all know things are hard.
Jua imewaka paka kwa mfuko.
So we're trying to make it easier as well. Just for people in the greater, is it Nairobi even? It's Kajiado.
Kajiado.
It's
Ni
not even
Kajiado.
Nairobi. But yeah, at the prison grounds on that side. Yes.
Wow.
So hiyo ni one of the clubs zenye mna manage Quran. Umesema ziko club ngapi Kenya saizi? 6. Na umesema finance ndio noma.
Generally, yes. But we're also trying to under the Director of Growth and Development, that's John Bai. His vision and what all the directors, I believe, agree with is that you get a club and what we are trying to get them to do is they become self-sustainable. You're not waiting for money from, the federation.
The federation.
So what happens is you have your, let's say out of those 6 clubs, say guys in Kisumu, them they're known for entertainment. Whenever we have a tournament, they're the guys that bring the entertainment. They're getting paid out of that. They're getting employment out of that. Because still, not everyone will be picked to play. So watu wachezi
wafanye nini?
Exactly. Like you'll decide maybe guys from Nakuru, maybe them they do farming or whatever. You help them get like a plot or whatever, or with the sponsorship, and then they get their money from there, so that you are self-sustainable. It's not always that you will be looking for a sponsor. You just run the daily things from your club. You come a fair to
so day to day.
The day-to-day stuff, yes. You can do by yourself without now getting a sponsor on board. And I think that's a very good model.
For the league, mko na second season, mko na potential partners.
Now, that is above my pay grade. but we are in talks with a few people. I will not mention who. Just let's not scare whoever else wants to come on board. Wacha wakuje.
But watu wako, unakaribisha watu wakuje tu.
Watu wakuje. Because at the end of the day, we want to grow the sport. We want to grow the sport, and this is a brilliant way to do it. Like for you as a brand. As in, who has had a successful season like that? Mumeanza hivi, mumeenda tona, hata mkufa kuenda, mkaenda, mkacheza na mkacheza vizuri.
Vifiti.
Very few people can do that. So, yes, we're welcoming anyone who would want to partner with us. Obviously, they'll get all the relevant information as we get into talk. Yes.
Vile umeongea story ya pay grade. Vile umeletea story ya pay grade. Hiyo maanisha kuna watu wako above wewe.
Of course, like
kuna hierarchy, si ndio?
Yes.
Na hii hierarchy ningependa kuunderstand, mnakuwa na AGM, mnakuwa na elections ama ni
So we had an AGM.
Ni monarchy.
No, as far as elections go, in my opinion,
Mhm.
we are again new.
Mhm.
So it's not like people who have like a million people who are coming to vie for positions.
Uh-huh.
At the moment, because there is no money, people are not even looking to join. It is
Okay.
what when you wakona.
Passion.
Yes, they've got passion. They will invest their own money. Let's be honest. Until sponsors come on board, that is basically what directors are doing. So hawa ni watu wamejituma. When we get to Ukombele, yes, we will have elections, of course, because then it actually matters that people are elected into, the board. But at the moment, we've got watu wamejitolea. Wamesema, okay, me, I'll handle this.
Wow.
And I'm not being paid. Nitajituma.
Ni wewe ndio unatoa.
Tukikosa, tutatoa. Yes. So that's what we have at the moment. But we had an AGM just the other day, just to sort of plan the season, talk about, what went right, what went wrong. And yeah, so we are hoping to implement things that we talked about then, especially with, club registration, player registration, things like that, just to sort of smoothen things out so that we're not in a space where tunafika pahali tunaambua kama venye our noisy neighbors waliambua wafanye AGM tena. We don't want things like those. No. We don't want things like those.
Passion ni mahali fiti sana ya kuanzia na mimi naona mna head place fiti. Vile umeanza story ya noisy neighbors, unajua kuna watu wa understand. Mimi napenda kuwaita distant relatives. Nini nafanyika? Kumekuwa na last weekend, kumekuwa na Las Vegas Sevens. This weekend kuna Vancouver Sevens. Tumeona sponsorship finally wamepata over 60 million. Ni nini unafanyika? Kama unaweza comment ama unaweza tuambia about your distant relatives. Nini inafanyika pande nyingine?
Nikisema ukiwaita hivyo distant, ni distant ile ukweli. Ile yenye siangaliangi kwao ni nini.
Lakini lazima kuna tu story unapata.
Basically for me, and this is general in sports, it starts at the top. When there's dysfunction, it generally starts at the top. One, before sponsorship comes in, if you are delaying players' payments for whatever reason, I will not blame them. I will not say for whatever reason. Of course, yes, nitacheza, but unajua nyumba yangu ikifungwa, I am not at peace.
Kweli kabisa.
I am not at peace. So there are things like that. Obviously, there's politics in choosing players and all of that. But for me, all I will say is it starts at the top. Once you get your affairs in order at the top, generally it trickles down pretty well. Yeah, I think that
unawachia hapo. Fungua roho, usiogope.
Unataka nikuwe kama wale watu sitasema mengi lakini and then I go into 5 paragraphs.
Nikikuquote ni safe space. Ni safe space.
Uko nje ndio. No, for me basically just starts at the top. Get your affairs in order and everything else will follow suit. Yes.
So tukiangalia league, tumesikia mimi nimemanage kupick out achievements zile mmemeka the past year. Plans zenyu going forward, kuna tournaments, kuna umesema season wanaingia season 2. So achieve plans zenyu short term ni gani?
So short term basically is to pick up the league, our second league. Just get that into play and see what we're working with. Obviously get more sponsors on board, but also we're hoping that every year we can get maybe 2 or 3 international test matches. We're talking to Ghana, we're talking to Nigeria. I know Uganda is starting rugby league, sijui penye wamefika, but that would be the closest, ile hata friendly fire kidogo tu. But yeah, basically we want to keep the boys active. Like even for national team, hautaki every 2 years when the championship comes ndio wanacheza.
Kweli, by the way.
Like we want to know also watu wengine wamefika wapi. Because as it is, like when we went for the tournament, the team that we beat was Cameroon. And they also have their own struggles, yes, but I will never take a win away from the boys. These boys did very well. We had the youngest, most, I would say, inexperienced team as far as rugby league goes, but we did very well. But what the other 2 teams that were ahead of us, that is Ghana and Nigeria, what they had was international players. Players who played, they've gone abroad, and then they've come to help their national team. It's not a bad thing. However, it would be a good sort of gauge every year. Kuona penye watu wamefika. sisi tuko wapi, hao wako wapi.
Hawa wako wapi?
Yes. And also, the more international fixtures they have, like I try to tell the boys, when we talk, that you are an ambassador of the sport and you're an ambassador of the national team. When you go back to your club, carry yourself highly. When you learn, when you ulichaguliwa, not that you na ego, but you should be leading by example. So yeah,
hapo ndio mko,
hapo ndio tuko.
Hizi story hizi story ni kazi hiziisha. Hizi story ni kazi hiziisha. Kitu ulikuwa unasemaje?
The Kenya Rugby League, you have a tournament next month. Benjamin Ayimba Legacy tournament. Can you start with us?
Well, it's basically in honor of the late Benjamin Ayimba, who was one of the founders of the Kenya Rugby League. Obviously, he also played union, so we'll have both codes of the game. But it's basically just to honor him. He is a legend. So many people have either played under him or just been mentored by him, or have said "Kumoja nitacheza timu ya Benja," even if they didn't get to. So it's another basically effort to grow the game.
Are you part of the organization?
I will be. Some of us come in a little later.
How are the preparations going on? Because right now we have exactly 1 month. Because it's on the 7th to 9th.
Well, I know we've got a couple of sponsors on board, which is very important, obviously, for the tournament. And as far as getting the teams, that's I think generally the easiest part. Once you've got the rest going, at that point, I know that the Kenya Rugby League season might not have started, so we'll have guys playing from there, and well, anyone else is also welcome to join.
Unawakaribisha.
Yes.
Manze, naona ni kama time inatuchenga kidogo jo, my friend. Time inatuchenga. Tuko na a lot kuongelea, lakini time inatuchenga, nikaa tutakuinvite tena next time. But before tukuache, najua kuna mafano wametusikiza na kuna watu wako na interest. Wanawapata wapi in case msee anataka kujoin ama anataka kujua more about rugby league, wanawapata wapi?
So that I don't give you wrong information. Wacha tu niwasome vizuri.
Usome vizuri.
So on what is this thing called? On Instagram, we are Rugby League Kenya, all one word. Rugby League Kenya. If you send a DM huko, it's utajibiwa. We get requests all the time about tunaweza, which team can we join? I live here, We'll place you based upon where you live. Where you live, sorry. And I'll ask you, okay, are you comfortable getting to this place? Because hii ndio team iko hapo. On Twitter, we are official KRLF. So again, that is all one word. Official KRLF. Uko chipu. And on Facebook, let me just look it up. It is Kenya Rugby League Federation Official. Because of course kuna watu ukianza kitu mzuri hao lazima waanze.
Mikora wako sagi.
So Kenya Rugby League Federation Official. Just send us a message and utajibiwa tu.
Tuanzie hapo. So tupatie parting shot.
Parting shot. I would say be good, do good, and the rest will follow.
Amen. Mafano nafikiri mmesikia wisdom. Tunakushukuru sana my friend kwa kutembelea, kupea watu wisdom.
Thank you for having me.
Kuongelesha watu, at least tumelearn a lot and I believe kuna watu interest yao ita grow. Si ndio?
Of course.
Mutiso, tutengeneze watu pesa.
Tengeneza
watu pesa sasa.
Ya Easter Maya. Tengenezea watu ya
January. Valentines. Valentines.
Watu
school fees tuliwatengenezea. So tunawatengenezea nini? Benjamin Ayimba Memorial Tournament. Tunataka at least kila mtu akwe na 50,000 ya kukuja kuspend. Hiyo sitakuwa sawa.
sana.
Wacha tupige break kidogo. Mayakos. Maembe itakuwa? Maembe itakuwa? Sasa mimi nakuja tu kukula.
Rangi kama ya Damima.
Wacha tupige break alafu turudi tengeneze watu pesa. ndio hii ile masaa ya kutengenezea watu pesa.
Kabisa.
Tumesema watu lazima waende wapi?
Lazima watu waende Masaku, Machakos County.
Umekaribisha watu kwa hiyo county. Utakuwa hapo kwa gate ya Machakos unasalimia kila mtu.
Unaona kwa ile junction pale Makutano. Gari yote inapita hivyo unajua inaenda straight huko. Gari zote zinajulikananga tu. Niko tu hapo nikiwasalimia wote.
Welcome.
Kila gari inapita maembe moja ama mbili. Feature games. Man City this afternoon early kickoff versus Newcastle. Man City 1.55, draw 4.20, Newcastle 6.00.
Mimi hiyo mechi nikiulizwa mimi naweza eka over 1.5 goals.
Over 1.5. Hizi kia Man City kichwa.
Man City hawezi shinda hiyo game. Ngumu.
Wacha niweke goal because Liverpool pia wameanza kuamka, and they've had in the last 4 matches wamekuwa na 4 clean sheets by the way, so they are really looking very good. So mimi naweza weka goal for this team. I think it's safer for me. Roma versus Juventus 2.70 for Roma, 3.00 for draw. Juventus 2.88.
Juventus kichwa.
Mourinho na vile kucheza game kubwa.
Mourinho amekuwa na PE, amekuwa na monkey business sana. Paka anaenda game ya under 14 kutroll wase. Ni vile team kubwa ina mess.
I think Mourinho ni kama vile alienda Tottenham. I think he lost it there. I think ile mojo ya Mourinho wenye tulikuwa tukimjua iliishianga hapo. Because ever since aende Italy, akashinda hiyo cup moja, that's it. Like he's been struggling in Italy very much.
Sana.
To the feature games. Atletico Madrid versus Sevilla. Atletico Madrid wako na 1.73. Draw ni 3.60. Sevilla 5.50. Mimi nimewekea Atletico Madrid kichwa.
Hata mimi hapo Madrid kichwa.
Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton 1.73. Draw 3.80. West Ham 4.75. Nimewekea Brighton kukuwa na over 1.5 match goals.
Mi game yote itakuwa over 1.5 goals.
Over 1.5 goals. Union Berlin versus FC Cologne. Union Berlin 1.90. Draw ni 3.30. Cologne 4.20. Union Berlin kichwa. Odds zangu zimekuja 7.
Safi kabisa.
Pesa taslim.
Story.
Na umefunga hiyo chapter?
Na nimefunga hiyo chapter.
Odds zako ni 4.50.
Nimefunga hiyo chapter.
Mtu akile 10,000.
Akiongeza hiyo 7 yako.
100,000. Pesa taslim.
Tupatane Masaku na maembe wanapewa.
Na maembe ziko za bure, free of charge.
Tunawashukuru sana kwa kutujoin leo.
Wagwan.
Hatutaongeza mengi, tunafungia show hapo. See you next week. Same time, same place.
May the odds be forever in your favor.